Her name is Lien Banxia. She's a forensic pathologist who deals with corpses. She had opened a body to prove the innocence of the deceased. Unexpectedly, it caused her to be targeted by the deceased unreasonable family. Upon her death, a system bonding was successful. Memories were merged with the host body. Oddly, Banxia wasn't suffocating. Suddenly memories flooded her mind of being forced to marry the dying son of the Zhang family. She was then blamed for being unlucky and was thrown in the ocean. She was rescued by her parents, who sobbed after failing to protect her. Her parents had no choice but to marry her off to the villain in Shihua Mountain. She then wakes up in a cave at Shihua Mountain, to intense arguing. After analyzing what's happening, she realized she has time traveled. The former host was framed by her relatives and sold to a dying man to bring him luck. Sadly, she ended up sunk in the ocean. A long white-haired guy named Ji Yu Han exclaims Banxia. He hugs her as she wonders who he is. He's the villain she married. He has a cute face and is protective of the one he loves. He threatened to give her aunt a ride if she came closer. He hugs her. Banxia thinks he's childish. She pushes him away. Then smacks him in the head. He cries. She then understood he's a dummy. The aunt is shocked that the mute Banxia could suddenly speak. She fears Banxia will reveal her secrets to Zhang family. At that moment, Banxia threatened to reveal her secrets. The aunt tries to slap her, however the Han stand in the way with a menacing look. Giving off the vibes of a good fighter, Banxia explains that her aunt's daughter Meihua was supposed to marry into the Zhang family. But when they found out he was dying, Banxia was set up. She was knocked out, then sent to Zhang family. Banxia exclaims her father's leg has frostbite from saving her and they must pay compensation of 10 taels of silver. The aunt replies 10 taels is robbery. She then grabs Banxia robe stating she was in his bed. When he died and she was the one who killed him, she grabs a stone intent on ending her life. Ji Yu Han grabs her and the aunt exclaim it's not over. She turns to leave. Banxia calls her, then tells her husband to give Auntie a ride. He smiles and says sure. She blasts off like Team Rocket. Banxia realized he knows Kung Fu. Banxia mother express her gratitude that there's someone who can protect her now. She then leaves to take care of Banxia's sick father. She promised to visit when the snow has melted. After she left, Banxia inspects the place thinking there's nothing in the home. She questioned how he managed to survive. Suddenly he hugs her from behind and informed her it's time to make babies. Banxia is flustered by his comment. He tries to kiss her, but she refused as advances. She then accidentally slip and grab his collar, causing him to fall on top of her. She tells him to get off. He responds she was the one who pulled him down. She states he must stay 3 meters away or she won't talk to him again. Not wanting to be ignored, he does as commanded. She then noticed a ring. A bright light came from it. Suddenly a hand comes out of the ring. Shocking Banxia, a small monkey-like creature appeared. Banxia believes she's dreaming. He gets upset after reading her mind, stating he's the system and because of her cold personality in her former life. She's here, also she must go to the Sun family to deliver their baby. She stretches his cheeks asking why she should listen to him. He points a finger and states if she refused 100 death penalty will be triggered and drowning is the first. A giant orb of water appear above her, which swallows her whole. She tries to get her husband's help, but he stands there not understanding the situation. Wanbao informs her, she can change her mind. She agrees to the task unwilling to die again. With a snap of Wanbao finger the water orb dissipates. Her husband rushes to her side after seeing her pale face. She tells her husband to show her the way down the mountain. He then turns around and gives her a coat to wear, also he tells her to get on his back. Banshia does as he says, and asked if he doesn't want to know why she wants to go. He responds she's his wife and he likes her. He carries her along the snowy path to the village, where a woman is giving birth. Wanbao orders her to go deliver the baby or else she'll never return home. Banshia inquires the condition to go home. Wanbao tries to explain, but is cut off. A woman smiles thinking the midwife arrived. When she sees Banshia her face becomes pale. Banshia informs her she's come to deliver the baby. The lady exclaims she brings bad luck and attempts to strike her with a broom. At that moment her husband shield her with his body. Banshia gets angry and exclaims their help is not needed. Suddenly a man announces that all the midwives are out for delivery. The lady falls on her behind, then cries like a child worried that it's the end of her bloodline. She remembers Banshia and begs her to deliver the baby. Banshia reminds her they're not welcome there, and we're just about to leave. Han says he likes babies, and doesn't want anything to happen to them. She passed the two kneeling, and states no one shall enter while she's delivering. They walk back and forth in anticipation. The cries of the newborn alerted them of its birth. Both the mother and child are safe. Banshia reminds them to disinfect the baby wound and the belly with boiled wormwood water. The two smile and thank her. The baby grips Banshia finger. She was shocked and confused by the situation. This is a way of saying thanks in baby language. The two go inside to show the mother the baby. Meanwhile Banshia cover her mouth, stating it's time to leave. Suddenly she grows pale and faints in her husband's arms. Banshia wakes up in the cave and her body feels heavy. Her husband is on top of her, leaning in close for a kiss. She grabbed his arm, then pushed him away. At that moment she noticed the bag around her waist is missing. She thought her husband took it, but after seeing his reaction she realized he doesn't have the surgical set. She summons Wanbao and accuses him of stealing. She then tells him to bring her home. Wanbao smiles sinisterly then reveals she must deliver 10,000 more babies. Banshia was stunned and almost fainted. Her husband caught her. She then elbows him telling him to stay away. Suddenly Han kissed her passionately. Wanbao informs her she has activated the branch task successfully. She then pushed him away. Wanbao circled her exclaiming she needs to make babies with the dummy, that's one of the conditions to return home. Wanbao states she has bonded with dummy and won't be able to switch partners. Banshia slaps him away, and wonders what kind of task is this. She doesn't want Han and would rather end herself. Banshia walks away into the freezing snow. Han asked if she's mad. Banshia warns him not to follow her or she'll leave him alone. Han was surprised. He grabs her hand exclaiming it's cold and he'll make her roast meat. Banshia throws off his hand exclaiming don't make a single step forward. He looks at his hand shocked by her behavior. He inquires where she's going. He tries to chase after her, but trips and lands on his face. Banshia stopped and wonder why he's doing it. He on the ground trying to get her to return. However, Banshia had come too far and there's no turning back. He turns around and she leaves. It late and the snow is freezing. If she continues she may get lost. She decides to turn back before her footprint are covered by snow. She worries that dummy is waiting for her outside the cave. A group of people are planning something menacing. The group emerge from the forest and attack. They strike her on the head knocking her out. Her aunt appears exclaiming she told her it wasn't over. She orders them to place her in the sack. Suddenly her husband appears exclaiming, "Let go of his wife." Their faces gets pale and they run away calling him a villain. Han slams one of the men head in the snow and gave the other a flying kick to the face. He gently holds Banshia, and apologized for coming so late. He carries her in his arms, then approach the ant. She backs away. Han states she needs to be punished. Her screams fill the air. The next day at noon, Banshia wakes up with an headache. Han then inquires how she's feeling, then announce lunch will be ready soon. He brings her a odd substance with a gross odor, calling it roast meat. She then asked if he had brought her back. He says yes, and her aunt has been punished. She slightly blushes and thanks him for saving her. Han is really happy and states he'll do anything for her. She is touched, then exclaims she'll try the roast meat. After one bite she made a rainbow. She slapped it from Han's hand and he starts to cry, exclaiming he loved that meat. She explained the meat his expire and it's not properly cooked. He'll get sick. Han calls her a bad woman who threw away his roast meat. He leaves exclaiming bad Banshia. 2 hours later and he still hasn't returned. Banshia worries why he hasn't returned. She's been trying to escape. But now the cave is too quiet. She then rolls around wondering why she's thinking about Han. Wanbao then states she will be rewarded with utensils and seasoning if she kissed Han. Han then arrived with an angry rabbit. He explains they're out of firewood and he went to get some. He gave her the rabbit to hold. She grabs his hand and exclaims she has something for him. She gives him a fur coat, stating it's cold outside. Han hugs her, but states he doesn't need it, since he's very strong. She knocks him in the head. He has a urgent to hug her. He can no longer contain it and hugs her. She tells him to hold on. They then fall in a compromising position where Banshia is on top kissing him. She wants to get up, but Han slowly approach her lips. Banshia backs away. Han states her lips are soft and sweet. At that moment Wanbao announces her task has been accomplished. Later on Banshia makes rabbit meat for Han, who states it's the best he's had, and she must have used magic. Banshia then remembered all the events from earlier and that all the tasks are related to Han. She decides she'll get more tasks from Ji Han in order to level up.